All right. How do you develop a solid philosophy around your personal finances? Now, yesterday, I actually spoke about philosophy in general, the philosophy that is instilled in you by your parents, maybe teachers, coaches, and folks like that in your life. And yesterday was the 1st of January, 2025. Now we're on day 2 of 2025, and I thought it was important to come talk to you about how to get those philosophies specifically around your personal finances. Because it's great that you have those philosophies that were instilled in you, and they're very, very helpful as far as having good tools to then take your personal finance philosophy and develop that and utilize those tools that you received from, like I said, parents and teachers and things like that to keep you consistent on the road to getting your finances together and hopefully in the future building wealth. So how do you do that? How do you develop strong, solid financial principles around your personal finances? And I have several really, really good ideas. I just definitely wanted to get this to you because I actually got off of work earlier. It's the evening, and I also work my home business. One of the things that I do is sell used books on Amazon. So I was doing that. It's been a very long day, but this is important. So I definitely wanted to get with you and talk to you about these things. Now, one of the things that I have done in the past and even now to actually develop my philosophy on personal finance is reading books. Okay, let me tell you about a specific situation that I had many years ago. I went to a business meeting where Jim Rohn was the featured speaker at this particular business meeting. And I was real excited to go to that because I had heard about Jim Rohn. I'd read some of Jim Rohn's books and things like that. I had read some of his teachings, and it was just great to be at that particular event with Jim Rohn. And so 3 books that Jim Rohn recommended at that particular training were the Bible, Think and Grow Rich, and The Richest Man in Babylon. And over here, I actually have these books. This book is my Bible that was given to me when I was 17 years old. It was given to me by my youth minister on the day of my baptism. And my youth minister actually wrote me a note here. I wanted to read that to you. It says, "Tim, I've always been impressed with your gentle spirit and smile. Always obey your God and his words in this book, and life will return joy and happiness for your efforts. Set love as your goal." Great principles, great philosophy to give to me at that time. And those philosophies are centered around me growing up in my Christian tradition with the Churches of Christ. And you may not be particularly religious, but whatever it is, whatever were those moral pinnings, those philosophies that were taught to you, you want to plug into those. And that's kind of what I was talking about yesterday, okay? But again, Jim Rohn took Think and Grow Rich as a suggestion at that meeting, and also this little book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, Think and Grow Rich is a great book, but I'm going to stay with this one, The Richest Man in Babylon. This was a big one that helped me to develop my personal finance philosophies, because this book is set in ancient Babylon. And the big thing that it got me thinking about or got turning in my head is all the way back in ancient Babylon, you had these principles that were being taught, these philosophies that are relevant even today. And that's one big thing that I continually look for in my finances, are things that have staying power, things and philosophies and ideas and that sort of thing that were true way back then, that are true now, and will be true in the future. And so this book, The Richest Man in Babylon, I highly recommend. Okay. Another book that I read soon after the Think and Grow Rich and then The Richest Man in Babylon is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Okay. The financial principle that I took from this book, or philosophy, the big one, is what are assets and what are liabilities. What Robert talks about is assets being anything that puts money into your pocket. Liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket, okay? And so it made me think even differently about home ownership. What is a home? Is it really an asset? Well, it certainly can be if you live in it for some time as your primary residence and then sell it, and then you actually make a profit from that. But while you're living in it, it's kind of, some call it a use asset. But if you really think about it, it's taking money out of your pocket every single month with the cost of the mortgage, if you have that, taxes, insurance, repairs, and so on. So this was a big one for me to develop my philosophy, okay? Another book that I read was The Millionaire Next Door, okay? I recommend this book. This is a really good one because it shows you what the typical millionaire is really like, how they think, what they concentrate on, how they got to where they are, the philosophies that they implemented on a regular basis to get where they're at. And it's eye-opening what millionaires are really like, what millionaires really purchase, what they see as important. And so this is a really good book to develop a personal finance philosophy, okay? I also read this little book quite some time ago. It's called Financial Boot Camp. I picked this up in Abilene, Texas, where I was going to college at Abilene Christian University. This was when we were going through a very, very difficult financial time, just like I explained in the previous video. But this was a book that kind of got me going. It talks about financial minefields, like car purchases and things like that. The author, James Paris, actually goes over those things. And it was a good book. But the book that was really pivotal for me that I picked up was Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover, okay? I'm kind of holding over that, but the Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey, okay? Many people in the financial space, whether they follow Dave Ramsey's steps, step by step, he has 7 baby steps in here. And in the future, I definitely plan to talk about this book because what it does is creates a roadmap for you to actually follow. To kind of digress here, in school, I had, in undergrad school, I had 2 different type of math professors. One type of math professor that kind of let you figure out how to solve the problem. Because with algebra and different math, there's different ways to solve a problem. You can solve it one way or the other and come to the same answer, but there's several different ways to solve the problem. Then I had the second teacher that would put exactly how he solves the problem up on the board so that you could follow it step by step. For me, I like the teacher that put everything up on the board step by step to where I could just easily follow it. That's what I liked, okay? That's what I preferred. And I think that when you're in financial crisis, where you're in debt and you're paycheck to paycheck and you just don't know how to get control of everything, this is a great book that goes through all of those steps. And even if you don't end up following all the steps, to me, it's kind of a prerequisite to kind of learn what Dave has to say in here, even if what you do is more of an approximation of what's in here, or maybe you follow many of the steps, but have some different ideas on other steps to take care of your particular personal finance. I know for me, I don't follow everything to the T that Dave has in here, but this was instrumental to helping me. Now, one other book that I have here actually on my phone that I'm going to pull up is The Simple Path to Wealth. Maybe you can see that there. There's kind of a little bit of, let me take face tracking off here. Okay, so that you can actually see that. You probably can. I can't tell. It still has face tracking on. Bear with me. Okay, there we go. Now, The Simple Path to Wealth there. Perhaps you can see that on the bottom. It's by J.L. Collins, The Simple Path to Wealth. Okay, let me put face tracking back on here. But on the Simple Path to Wealth, the face tracking didn't quite, there it is. The Simple Path to Wealth, what it says is your map to financial independence and a rich, free life. What I like about that subtitle there is that it says here your road map. And let me just talk about that analogy a little bit. A road map, okay? Why do we use GPS when we're going to a location? Often I use it so that I can actually get to that place. And when I don't know where I'm going, I follow the GPS, whatever they say. If the GPS says turn here, I go ahead and turn there. If it gives that path, I go ahead and take that path. Now, just as a caveat, I am cautious still because GPS has made some errors sometimes and even sent people into unfortunately fatal accidents because maybe a bridge is out or something like that. So I'm vigilant as I'm actually following GPS. But if I don't know the destination, I completely follow GPS, okay? And so that Simple Path to Wealth, actually was on my phone, actually gives you that specific roadmap to building wealth, which is highly useful when you don't have any idea kind of what you're doing, okay? It's the same thing with the Total Money Makeover, having those 7 baby steps. And I'll also mention here a YouTube channel that I watch is The Money Guy. The Money Guy has the FOO, F-O-O, the Financial Order of Operations, which is a step-by-step, which is a 9-step, I believe, proven path where you take this step and then you take the next step and so on. And again, that kind of roadmap, that very, very specific kind of roadmap, I think is helpful, especially in the beginning, if you're just really don't have control of your financial situation at all, okay? As you get to know the area, like sometimes I'll be going to a specific place in the area where I live here in the Rio Grande Valley. Like, you know, I live in Premeta or Harlingen area here in the Rio Grande Valley. I may be going to the other side of the valley, like McAllen, and I basically know this area. So the GPS might want me to be on the highway when I know that it's going to be better for me to be on the business highway, which is the smaller highway, but that gets me from all of the traffic that will be in McAllen. But that's because I know the area, okay? I know the area, so I'm able to kind of use the GPS when I get all the way to the destination, but I may not follow it when it's telling me to do something that I know because now I know the area that's better, okay? If you read books like this, if you start to listen to YouTube channels, podcasts, different things, you just kind of want to start to take in information, then you're going to get to the point to where you know the area of personal finance. And then you can start to kind of tweak things, change things a little bit to actually fit your particular situation. But in the beginning, you probably want to choose one of these paths and actually follow it step by step. Okay. Now, what I'm definitely going to do over the next videos and such is to show you where I've kind of made my plan from the Total Money Makeover and from the Money Guy's FOO, the 9 steps of the financial order of operations, and also the simple path to wealth, how I've taken that and kind of molded those together on my path. And the reason for that is what I think these type of videos and things like that give you the ability to do is to get into my critical thinking, or if you're watching another YouTuber, into their critical thinking, so that you can kind of see how they're thinking, and it'll actually help you with your critical thinking. It may also help you to develop a more specific financial, personal finance philosophy. Okay. Again, I thought this was really important to actually get on day 2 of January here for you, so that you can start to actually do some of solidifying your personal finance philosophy. Now, I'll give you homework. I would read the Total Money Makeover, definitely. I might start, the Total Money Makeover. And also, I think this Richest Man in Babylon is good. It's a good read. It's a good story. It kind of gives you that storytelling way of doing things instead of just being technical. So I think that those 2 books are good. And then the Simple Path to Wealth also. I would give you that homework to kind of start things moving. And maybe also look at the Money Guy on YouTube some. But you want to start doing the homework. Start getting that into your mind. It's kind of like if you're having a lot of financial trouble, it's kind of like being sick. You got to take some medication. I mean, for me, reading a lot of these things are fun. But for some people, you may not be into personal finance as much. And so it's kind of like taking medicine to get from being sick financially to being well financially. I hope this helps. Thank you for listening.